Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer, and today what we're going to be doing is going over the top 5 cards that are Series 4 that you could buy right now, and then the top 5 underrated Series 4 cards that are really, really powerful but might require a little more of your account. This is finishing up our series. We did the same thing for Series 5 cards over the past few days, so if you want to know what cards that you really, really want that are half price, keep here. But before we talk about that, I'd just like to let you know that you can win a free zombie Scarlet Witch on this very episode. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. We'll be giving away a couple in the community comments in the next little bit. So if you would like a free zombie Scarlet Witch, all you have to do is comment as long as you've subbed and liked this video. We're going to kick it off with X23, who I think is the single best Series 4 card in the game to get. We're not going to spoil that. It's not my favorite Series 4 card in the game to get. I think my favorite and the most underrated are going to be the last card of the video, but we're going to talk X23 first. When this card is discarded, destroyed, regenerated around location, and you get +1 energy next turn. This is the only high series card you need to play destroy. Yes, you would like Agony, Moira X, Headpool. Those are great cards. Yes, there's more cards likely coming for destroy in December. But for now, if you want to get into a destroy deck, you can play it purely Series 3 with X23 and compete with absolutely anything. There's no other deck that's as cheap. There's no other card that's required. It's only a Series 4 card that can get you into it. So if you ever want to actually just build a deck with your Series 3 cards, if you have a bunch of Series 3 cards, X23 is the easiest card to get. It's a card that's so good and so useful that they've actually given it to us for free in the past. They just, like 4 months ago or so, gave away a free X23 variant and said everyone has access to Destroy now, have at it. And since then, yes, they've added Moira X and Headpool to the list, and you can use those, right? Moira X is especially good. I think Headpool's fine, but Moira X is especially good. They're not required. The list is perfectly fine without any of the shenanigans. And because they've nerfed cards like Shadow King, because they've changed the cost of Enchantress, because they nerfed Shang-Chi, Destroy is in a better spot than it's ever been. It's a card that sort of dies to tech, but a lot of the tech it dies to is just gone. Hopefully you got Agony for free when she was in a limited time game mode, but whether you did or not, X23 gives you access to a new and powerful deck. Before we get to the first underrated card, if you haven't yet, please hit that sub button and leave a like and leave a comment to help us out. We are fighting the YouTube algorithm at all times, and your support is pivotal in beating up the machine. Hit that sub and help us out. All right, our most underrated, my favorite underrated Series 4 card is Silver Surfer First Steps. End of turn, if you're winning this location, with an on reveal card, copy its text. That's fantastic. I love, love, love this card. So she's very rarely talked about. I feel like I'm the only person that still talks about her. She's absolutely one of my favorite cards in the game. I think there's 3 cards I really like with her. I like Surge, I like Iron Patriot, I like Wiccan, and I like Gwenpool. 5, I guess. 4? I can't count. 4 cards that I really like with her. Surge. If you hit Surge, you are now getting double discounts on cards. That's obviously fantastic. You can even play, like, if you don't play both of the Surge cards, you can sort of alternate discounts. You can end up with a -2 discount. All around super strong stuff. If you can get Iron Patriot, and she wins the Iron Patriot lane, now that cheap card can help you win a second Iron Patriot. Double discounts from Iron Patriot is obviously huge. +4 energy from Wiccan or +12 power from Gwenpool are all game winners. But what's more than them being game winners is hitting these cards can lead to a snap. If you can snap late if you don't have great cards, or you can to chase away opponents, or you can snap earlier in order to say, I've got a way to win extra cubes that I know my opponent can't really compete with. Silver Surfer First Steps is one of the more slept on cards around. A 3/5 that has this ability. Like, I see a lot of people running Viv Vision. I think Silver Surfer First Steps is generally a better card than Viv Vision right now. Come check me out on stream. I should be streaming tomorrow morning at about 8 a.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. Come hang out. Ignore this question. You can write literally anything you would like to for your season pass entry. Ravonna Renslayer is a 2/2 ongoing. Your cards with 1 or less power. With 1 or less power cost 1 less. So if you have a card with 1 power, it costs 1 less. If you have a card with 0 or negative power, it costs 1 less. She is one of the best 2-drops in the game. She is often forgotten, often slept on. Her real role, her best role, her most powerful role is in Mr. Negative decks. If you can play her on 2, you can play Mr. Negative on 3, and whether you see Jane or not, you're drawing an extra card. Please snap on this. Don't wait. You will lose an occasional rare game that way. But most of the time, if your opponent is any good, they're just going to run. This is the only real needed thing outside of maybe Gore for Mr. Negative lists. You can, however, do a pure ongoing shell here. You can do a pure ongoing shell. The Moonstone Gore package with Iron Man, Mystique, Mr. Fantastic, all that was in combo with Ravonna is insanely good. If you get a Moonstone on Ravonna, your cards like Mr. Fantastic will cost 1, Mystique will cost 1. You'll get things like a 3-cost Iron Man or 4-cost Gore. Obviously, crazy powerful stuff in these ways. She is a snap-a-thon, right? Like if your opponent doesn't have Mobius and you get her off with either Moonstone or for negative, you're probably so favored in that game, you're going to win. I keep waiting for them to make a mistake and release one more. We just want one more ongoing card to go with Gore and Iron Man. One more 5 or 6 cost ongoing card that's going to give us that extra power spike, and this card's going to like absolutely go through the roof in power. And it's already one of the more powerful 2-drops in the game, and one of the very, very best 4-cost cards that you could buy for your account. As we go forward, we got Batroc Zeletre. It is Batroc, our favorite French person outside of Den, our favorite fictional French person. Den is real as can be. Den is the head writer at Snap Zone, if you're not aware. Batroc is a 1/2. When a card moves, follow it to gain +2 power once per turn. This card is severely underrated. For a minute, everyone remembered how strong it was when Cougar won the latest Golden Gauntlet using it, but everyone went right back to forgetting it. Sam Wilson, Craven, and Silk are a package for this list. If you just run Sam Wilson and Craven, and yes, Sam's another Series 5 card, but Craven and Silk are Series 3 or lower, you have a 4-card package that you can stick in decks for a ton of power. It's really, really great, especially if you want to run things like Angela, if you want to run things like Hope Summers or Elsa. You can add Hydra Stomper for a big power spike. You can add things like Cannonball for a big power spike. Hell, you can run it in a Scream deck. Scream, one of the more underrated and powerful Series 5 cards. Batroc opens up a lot of sort of mid-range, really powerful decks. He's not the best 1-drop. He's not the best Series 4 card, but he's severely slept on as part of a power package that can carry you through a lot of your early collection level woes. Next up, we got Supergiant, and everyone should know exactly how good Supergiant is right now. One of the best and most powerful things around. On reveal, all cards played next turn don't reveal until the game ends. On the 4/7 body, that is amazing. This is a card with which you really want to get priority. You want to play a bunch of powerful stuff, get priority, play Supergiant, and then you can play cards like Negason and Teenage Warhead and Goliath to absolutely wreck the opponent. If you're sick of losing to end of turn decks or decks that bounce things or decks that move things around, turning off their turn 5s, saying you don't have a turn 5, is another incredibly powerful way to win, to shut them off, to absolutely dominate them. It's a free, easy snap, which means free, easy cubes. Her best friends are very often Series 3 cards like Daredevil, which gives you another way to sort of get a very Supergiant-esque ability, or Negasonic Teenage Warhead, which can give you a free blow up, or you can like end up getting cards like Hydra Bob to win priority or Goliath to, because like if those cards aren't revealed at the end of the game, Goliath reveals on turn 6 and they're automatically turned off. It's wildly good. If you know the metagame, there are a few cards as good at stealing cubes as Supergiant because you know exactly what your opponent's playing. Sorry, my cat jumped in front of me and scared me. You know exactly what your opponent's playing and what your opponent's doing, so you should be just really, really good to go. What just happened to that? All right. Well, let us continue to go with this. I'm gonna have to delete a bunch of stuff off my Google Drive. My Google Drive's like, we're almost full, and it keeps like yelling at me. So we'll finish that momentarily. All right, next up we got the great Corvus Glaive. Corvus Glaive is a 3/5. He is severely underrated. No one ever talks about Corvus Glaive anymore, and I do not know why. On reveal, discard 2 cards from your hands to get +1 max energy. This card is amazing for Hela decks and various discard decks. If you want to run any kind of Hela or Agatha deck or any kind of discard deck, you're going to need Corvus Glaive to play the best versions right now. That 1 extra energy is humongous. At the worst, the least thing it can do is let you play MODOK with Morbius on turn 5, and those 2 cards in combination are extraordinarily powerful. But like you just get a million things to do. Like you can do a Khonshu on turn 5 and then still have the ability to on turn 6 do your Dracula Apocalypse shenanigans, or just drop a big Apocalypse or play a Gambit or whatever else. You have a million other things. There's just so many options here. You can end up playing Hela decks, and this is very likely to discard your Agatha or discard some cards that let you do things like Hela on turn 5 into Odin, which is one of the more powerful things to do. This is an amazing card because it lets you blink on 4 to immediately get your bigger cards out in those decks. If you want Hela decks, go Blink and Scar. If you want classic discards, you're going to need Proxima Scorn and Khonshu. But for a Series 4 card, for a discount, this one is absolutely gas. Go look at this. Play it. All right, as we go forward, we got Scar. Scar is one of the best cards in the game, period. 7/12, costs 2 less for each of your cards that has 10 or more power. The idiots decks, the decks that run Scar are just super duper strong, right? Like all the decks that can run Scar, and we're not talking nightmare decks, we're talking Sauron zero decks, which means they're relatively cheap, are just really strong. Plus, this is a card that goes in Hela. Hela loves having powerful cards at random costs, and Scar being a 7 and Death being an 8 are absolutely awesome for Hela decks. You're definitely going to want Starbrand if you want to play this in Idiots decks, but besides that, you're looking at Ares, Color, Surtur, and you have plenty of options. We already talked about what you need for Hela decks. I don't know. If you're struggling to hit Infinite and you just want to play something and do it, I would suggest going with a Scar Idiots deck. It's just the easiest thing to play. You have so much power and control over what your opponent does, and there's very little they can do to counter you. Scar is a monster. Speaking of monsters, Pixie is the most underrated monster in the game. I hate to say that because Ika is going to definitely message me to brag. But Pixie is a 2/2 on reveal. Shuffle the base cost of all cards in your deck that started here. And Pixie can shuffle a card with the same cost, which royally sucks and is the only real downside. If she didn't shuffle with the same cost, she'd probably be one of the 10-ish best cards in the game. But even as is, you get a constant stream of good Pixie decks because there are two amazingly good players that are always brewing with Pixie. Both Ika and Pixie Chef are always brewing with this card, so you're always going to get a steady stream of top Pixie decks. If you run this with Mobius, you always get the better cost, and Mobius is a Series 3 card, so the Series 4 card pairs with the Series 3, and you just get easy stuff. If you want high cost cards that go with Pixie, Cosmic Ghost Rider is the best tech card in the game, and it costs 5. When you sometimes get a cheap Cosmic Ghost Rider, that feels broken. The best 6 cost card with Pixie, in my personal opinion, is Galactus First Steps, because just having this giant freaking monster card you can drop on people's faces, Galactus First Steps is like Infinite with a little more work, a little more and a little less work with less downside. Let's say it that way. Galactus First Steps is less downside version of Infinite and just crazy stats. And then of course we have Nico as an amazing card with Pixie, because using Pixie to draw 2 or turn it into a demon is wildly good, and you do need 1-drops in your Pixie deck. I think Pixie's a card that would frustrate a lot of players, but if you have the patience to recognize what she's doing for you, she's a card that can give you crazy snaps and huge cube wins. All right. I think Redshift has circled around. I thought he was one of the best, but he has circled all the way around to becoming underrated. 2/3 on reveal, discard the leftmost card in your hand to add a random card with the same cost to your hand. This card is for Agatha. We can play it with other things, and sometimes we do. There's an occasional Black Knight deck, but if you ever want to play Agatha, if you get Agatha and you're like, I want that card, then you want Redshift. Agatha Hela and Agatha Black Knight decks are both real decks. Tommy keeps winning with Agatha Black Knight, which shows that if you play well enough, you can win a lot of games with it. And Agatha Hela is just easy and simple cubes. If you're still learning the game or you want something mindless to play, enjoy your Agatha Hela. Corvus you should get before Redshift, right? Like Corvus is a better card than Redshift because it goes in those decks as well as going in the classic Apocalypse discard. But after you get Corvus, if you want to go an Agatha route, Redshift is an easy next buy. You immediately can get Black Knight and have a deck. You can also get Scar and Blink and have a Hela deck. There's a lot of options. This card is great. There's a bunch of like various Victoria Hand alternates of this, because this generates a card, and if you have Black Knight, that's a card that's created in hand, and then you get +2 on those cards. I love this card. I don't know. I think it's become underrated so fast. It was like for a while the best card of last month, and everyone just sort of sleeps on it now. Agatha lost a couple points and a few cards changed, and everyone just forgot how good this is. Don't forget how good this is. All right, our last card, my favorite card we're going to talk about today, is Werewolf by Night, one of my favorite cards in the game. 3/3. After you play a card, move there to gain +2 power if it has an on reveal. So Werewolf by Night is this incredible moving power card, right? It moves, it gains power, you can move it multiple times in one turn, and it gets absolutely huge. It's really hard to use because you have to manage board space with extreme care with Werewolf by Night. However, they created skills/spells in Marvel Snap, which means as long as you have one cost skills, you can move Werewolf wherever you want, sort of as much as you want. That means a Merlin with Werewolf by Night is completely insane. One of the best 2 into 3 combos you can have, a Snap condition. But like we have more in the coming months, 1-cost skills coming out, and the more 1-cost skills we have, the better Werewolf is. I think Werewolf, it's just time to get Werewolf. The other thing to note about Werewolf is this is a card that's going to make you better at Snap. You're going to have to read your opponent. You're going to have to think about what you're doing, where you're moving, how much you can move, what turn you want to move things places, whether you want Prio, whether you're worried about Shadow King or Shang-Chi or any nonsense, or Cosmo or whatever, or whether you're fine just playing him out. All those things will make you a better and smarter Snap player, which means you will win more cubes in the long run. Finally, it's really, really hard for opponents to deal with movable power, and he very often ends up at about like 15 to 17 power. Like a 13 power werewolf seems about average, and you often end up with 15 to 17 power. Think about trying to play against a 15 to 17 power that could be anywhere on the last turn. How do you beat that? Unless you're going ridiculously huge in every lane, it's incredibly hard to, and that means Werewolf is one of the best cards in Marvel Snap, and you can get him for 3,000 tokens. Oh no, there's two more. I don't know where these go, but they had to be here. So I don't know if these are best or underrated. I think Mercury has to be best and Cannibal has to be underrated, right? So Mercury is a 2/2. You can move this once. Ongoing, your enemy cards here can't move. This card is paired with Cannibal. But honestly, Mercury is just one of the best 2 drops to have. You may not know this based on your MMR, based on where you're playing, but Move is the best deck in Marvel Snap. Almost every top player sort of agrees that Move and Cerebro are absolute monsters of decks. Mercury is your only way to beat Move, or one of your only ways to beat Move without getting lucky or your opponent not being very good. It is the most consistent and powerful way to do so, in addition to having several other synergies. The two most notable synergies Mercury has are first with Cannibal. Mercury says a card can't be moved. Cannibal says if you can't move it, destroy it. So those two cards mean destroy the highest power card an enemy has at a location. Obviously, that's incredibly strong. The other real synergy this has is with Moonstone, where if Moonstone is in the same lane, even if Mercury moves into that lane, then Moonstone can move. Being able to move Moonstone means you can drop her as a huge power play in unexpected places, absolutely dominating. Between those two things, I think Mercury is one of the best cards in the game, and you can get her for extremely cheap. So I think you probably freaking should. Mercury is a card that's worth owning. Cannonball is one of the top 5 drops in the game. We just covered that with Cougar and Butt, two of the best Marvel Snap players in the history of this game, on the podcast yesterday. So if you're interested in seeing what the best cards are, well, Cannonball is one of the 5 best 5 drops in the game, and he costs 3,000 tokens. On reveal, move the highest power enemy card away from here is still enough to win a lot of games. When you combine it with if you can't destroy it with a rock, if you want to play a clog deck, if you want to play a Mercury deck, if you just want to play a Scream Mood deck, Cannonball is going to be a must-have card. You're going to want Mercury with Cannonball, almost certainly, but like that's kind of it. That's the whole package. You can run Cannonball with a ton of other things. I think he's not as good as Cosmic Ghost Rider right now, right? But Cosmic Ghost Rider costs double. Is Cannonball plus Mercury as good as Cosmic Ghost Rider? Ooh, now we're talking, right? So I think Cannonball is severely underrated and absolutely incredible and powerful and must own card. I suggest you get Mercury and Cannonball together. Absolutely. Although I do think Werewolf is still my favorite of this video. Oh my god, one more! The last card we're going to talk about. Last card we're going to talk about? Last card we're going to talk about is daken. Daken is on reveal. Add the Murasa Shard to your hand. Murasa Shard is 1/1. When this is discarded or destroyed, double Daken's power. You're going to need Bullseye for this, right? You're going to need Bullseye if you want to play Daken. Without Bullseye, Daken is bad. But with Moon Girl, with Bastion, with he opens up like a million different cards and a million different options just with like Agony or Forge. With any little buff, he ends up absolutely crazy. He ends up super strong and really, really useful. Grandmaster, there's like 15 cards that work with Daken that are all amazing. He opens up a whole new bunch of decks, a whole new path to getting new cards. He's not going to be useful the minute you get him unless you already have Bullseye and either Frigga or Grandmaster, but the cat is moving my mic, sorry. But he is incredibly powerful regardless. He is a card that you want to own, that you will get great use out of very consistently. I don't like as soon as you have the cards for him. He opens up new decks. He opens up versions of Surfer. He opens up obviously the Bullseye Pure Discard deck that's largely Series 3 right now. He's just an incredible card. After being terrible from he was a season pass like 2 years ago in August, and then he was terrible for like a year and a half until Bullseye came out. And since Bullseye came out, he's been just this consistent power piece. He's more expensive than Werewolf. He's more expensive. Like he's obviously costs the same, right? But the kind of deck he goes in is more expensive than a lot of the other ones we talked about here. But it's hard to overstate when you get him going how much he opens up the game for you and how much he can like lead you down a path of just buying a bunch of really powerful things. And that's it. That's our top 10 underrated and most powerful Series 4 cards. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. We're back to decks tomorrow. Please do check out patreon.com/snapjudgments if you're willing to. It would really help us out if you're willing to throw some love and support to us over there. If not, hey, no harm, no foul. But if you want to, please check it out. Thank you to our top tier patrons, Jonesy Snapped, Abigail Gleason, Mentor Burnett, LAB, Inc., I am Frostman, Iron Cloak, Hota, Never After, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Snap, Ren Wrench, Group Math, Gopher Kev, Caretix Lee, Koire, Kazushi, Archangel, 3K, Black Dahlia, Pyro, Goatsy, Code, Hollowed Synth, Fretnik, Absolute Shannon, Turtay Casual, Dark Moogle, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Jeebus 23, X-Verse V, and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Slush Death, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, not by night, but Werewolf, Kevs, Yoda Colt, Clam, Colonel Forbin, David Moo Wingfield, Stephen, Brian Kaufman, Justin H. Martin, Jason B, Matt V, William Nichols, Billy Dix, Rayshawn Smith, Charles Chucky Washington, Corin, John Q, and Jimmy Q, Q Town, Your Stout, Ace Sage, One Big Man, Cactus, Steve O, Yo Margo, Ted Bro, Good Bro Joe, Snapchat, Scissors Joe, Bickety Boom Bop, Bricks 2 Click, Acu, Ocularis, Green Goblin, Flan 56, Spectrum X, Hoot, Only Fox, Matt H, DJ Mac Jinx, No Frickin' Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Toxie, Toxic Soul King, Subject 74, The King of Canada, JJ, Denman Falcon, Fafler Newman, Two Ties, The Great Lardez, The Pike King Tucker, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more Snap Take. Peace.